I have developed an uncanny ability to just fill my passenger seat legroom with trash. Oh my god. But not going to affect the pump. So plan this morning. Go do cardio just like every morning, of course. But I'm going to add a little bit of a twist. I've kind of noticed that as I've been doing my lifts, by the time the actual main portion of the lift is over, I'm kind of like just ready to freaking roll. But I do usually want to hit calves. I feel like your calves can handle daily stimulation. So at the end of every lift, I want to get my 5 or 6 reasonably heavy sets done. But that'll sometimes that kind of artificially extends the time that I'm lifting. And if I'm in like a rush and I gotta get back to the house for some kind of whatever, it's not necessarily ideal. I love the gym, but I don't really want to be in there for like 5 hours unnecessarily, of course. Obviously not 5, but you know what I'm saying. So for a while I was doing my calves after morning cardio. I think I'm gonna get back into that routine. That'll be good. So I probably wouldn't want to do calves after cardio if the cardio was fasted, but I've already had a pretty solid breakfast, the likes of which I'm sure you could just guess what it was composed of. A bunch of freaking cereal, but full of carbs. Well, got some amino acids floating around my system from milk protein, which don't really understand the hate on milk. Super high up on the protein grading scale. Definitely up there with steaks, eggs, chickens, poultry. Probably not. I mean, look, I don't want to drink milk for every meal, of course, but it is a solid protein source. So as long as you can hack it lactose-wise, I don't see a problem. I do not see the freaking problem. But yeah, so what I'm trying to say is I wouldn't want to do calves after cardio if I was fasted, because if you're in a fasted state, you're just not really prepped, Like, oh my god. Part of the reason why I don't like lifting really early in the morning is, I wake up, for one thing, I'm relatively carb depleted because I haven't eaten anything for like, 8 or however many hours I've been sleeping. And then, well, actually, I guess that's the main point. I'm not really fueled up to be able to handle a ton of stress in a way. And then also, I kind of just don't, I guess I just don't really feel like it. I don't like lifting right in the morning. I want at least 3 or 4 solid meals in my system before I roll up to hit chest or arms or whatever else. But, one meal for calves, that doesn't bother me. That does not bother me, because it's not like I'm getting the insane amount of hype that I would get for a set of squats or goodness, a set of squats or a crazy set of bench or whatever else for calves. I just pull up to whatever kind of calf machine I want to do. There are a variety at this gym. I'll probably do a couple just for variety's sake, but I really just kind of have to go in and do it. Obviously there are sets where you want to really dig deep and push it, and you kind of need an extra bit of like sort of, I don't know, you have to be at like a heightened state of intensity to do a really good set of squats, I feel, or good set of bench or curls where like you're getting assistance and like you seriously can't even do another one, and then they're like there are sets that I think maybe not require but are going to benefit from having a really intense mindset while you're doing them. But then there are other sets where it's a little bit more lackluster. It's not so much about, I don't know, for me to do a set of squats with like a crazy hype up Attack on Titan funk edit, or with zero hype, that zero hype set, the weight feels fucking twice as heavy. Just something about the adrenaline or whatever else. It's just, I can't do a set as well. I may be limiting myself in my mind or whatever by saying that, but that's kind of just how I feel. But with a set of, like, just let me think of something. With a set of pec flies, I don't have to sit there and huff and puff before I throw it around. It's kind of just going through the process of, reaching a certain amount of fatigue and burn, and then, like, okay, I literally cannot do any more partials, so I'll just call it there, So I kind of forget where I was going to go with that, but whatever. Oh yeah, no, so calves kind of fall under that less intense style for me, at least. Maybe that's the wrong way to go about it, but it's just not super intense. I feel like it's really just something you kind of have to go through the process of doing. Just pop a squat on the seated calf raise or the standing one. I have pretty heavy sets in, reach a point of fatigue where you can't really do much of a partial anymore, and then that's a good set. So calves, I can understand why people chill out on them. For one thing, they're kind of hidden if you're wearing pants all the time. I guess if you're in a warmer climate, you might be inclined to hit them a little more just because they're going to be out in the open. But also, I mean, there's kind of a perfect excuse that everybody will bust out. Oh, well, calves are genetic, man. Come on, dude. Come on. Calves are genetic, bro. I've tried everything. I've tried to hit them, man. It doesn't work for me. I don't know about all that, man. I mean, I feel like if I heard 100 lifters say that excuse, be it like spoken or commented or whatever, maybe 5 of them are telling the truth. Maybe, and that's honestly probably being even a little bit generous. Train it like any other muscle. You can't just lift and then expect shit to happen if you don't hit something. I would never expect any chest growth if I didn't thrash my chest. I would never expect any tricep peak, or no, what am I talking about? I wouldn't expect a better bicep peak if I never hit buys. It just sounds kind of nonsensical. So you kind of want your triceps to, I'm losing my mind. If you kind of want your calves to be a little bit bigger than they are, then maybe you should train them a little bit harder than you are. So I think that'll be my conclusive statement. So let's cut to the start of calves. That'll be after 30 minutes of me just sitting on the seated bike playing on my phone. Sauna tip of the day, at least from my own experience: bring yourself a freaking drink in there. Oof. Dude, I swear my throat gets so dry if I don't have a little something to sip on. But it's nice in there. Now, I'm not thinking, okay, I just did my cardio, I just stimulated my calves, now I need some sauna heat exposure to really just boost my recoverability. Not exactly. Really what I'm just thinking is, all right, I just did my cardio, I did my calves, now I just want to get in the sauna because it feels good. I don't really have an alternative motive apart from that. I do hear good things. Right? I really only hear good things about sauna exposure, ice baths, cold showers, and stuff like that too. But whenever I do them, it's not really... Well, actually, that's not true. That's not true. One reason that I'm inclined to do ice baths is when I'm dieting. If I'm dieting down, then I kind of like doing an ice bath and a cold shower after cardio. This last cut, I was a little bit lazy about it because they're kind of hard to do. It's fucking hard to turn that shower knob all the way to cold and then get in there for 5 minutes. But I do like doing them when I'm dieting down, just because it's a little bit of an extra stress on the body. And I'm not saying that as in like, well, let me just kind of explain how I think about it. What I kind of see that as is, okay, I just did, X amount of calories burned of cardio, right? So now, in my mind, the only reason I even started doing ice baths in the first place was, or at least when I would do them, was you got to think your body burns energy to heat itself back up. So by getting into an ice bath for like 15 minutes, at 50-ish degrees Fahrenheit, whatever that is Celsius, I couldn't tell you. But in my mind, I'm like, okay, if I do 15 minutes of cold exposure, then I got to re-burn so-and-so amount of energy to heat my body back up. And where are you going to burn most of that energy from, especially in a calorie deficit? From your fat deposits. Plus, there's all sorts of shit talking about like, oh man, there's like 2 kinds of fat. There's like deep inner body adipose. I can't remember. It's whatever. If you want to go down the rabbit hole of ice baths and saunas, I highly recommend it. I think I should probably do that as well. See if there's anything in there for me, muscle growth wise. But until then, I'll just kind of do them when I feel like it, just because I like it. Just because I freaking like it. So plan now, get back to the crib. Actually, no, I gotta go to the grocery store. I need some stuff. Not to be clipped. Not to be clipped. Oh, that reminds me, full day of eating. I have been really slacking on that one. Just give me a little bit of time. It'll happen. It'll freaking happen. But, you know, same as normal. Gonna be a lot of beef, steaks, ramen, cereal. What else? I've been loving Reese's Cups. And it's so easy to get down. I mean, one little 4-pack, I think that's 400 calories. Shit, man, that is not nothing. Maybe, yeah, now that I think about it, I should probably get some of those too. Not only just to kind of snack on some, but bulking hack. This may not be the best hack per se, but an easy way to get down a couple of extra 100 calories. I love doing a big shake, whatever, 2 scoops of some ISO H1 hostile chocolate protein. And then, rather than just blend that up and that be the end of it, add a couple of Reese's Cups in there. It's nice because when you actually blend it up, they'll still, like, you know, dissolve into the water. It'll become you know, a homogeneous mixture. I've made some shakes in the past where what happens is some solids, just from whatever I put into them, settle down to the bottom, and then it is just no fun to drink. You know, maybe the top portion is nice and sweet, but then the bottom portion is just full of, like, you know, mush. I've tried doing cereal shakes before, Rich Piana style. Not with the egg whites though. I would just do protein powder. But, you know, it'd be like 5 servings of some kind of cereal, plus some protein powder, plus milk, plus a little water just to thin it all out. And, like, it gets kind of thick. So, basic premise, maybe I should try to point out. Yeah, try to be smart when you blend shit up into a freaking gnarly bulking shake. Some peanut butter would do you good too. Yeah, I should probably add some peanut butter in there also. Double up. Because I've already got the chocolate from the protein powder and some peanut butter from the Reese's Cups, but so also some chocolate from the Reese's Cups. Thanks for that idea. Now I'm onto something. So either way, gotta scarf some food down to put some weight back on, because right now I am fucking light. A combination of sickness, school busyness, and I guess that, oh yeah, sickness, school busyness, and kind of a appetite crash over the last week has kind of boned me. I am definitely on the lighter scale of my fullness when it comes to carbs. Because for me, at, like, you know, around 245-ish, 250s, in that range of, like, size, my weight can fluctuate very drastically. And not because, like, one day I gained 3 pounds of fat or one day I lost 3 pounds of muscle. It's just all intramuscular water and glycogen. So same thing for you, but if you're a little bit smaller, it might be less drastic of a change. But, you know, if you go a week eating as much food as you normally do, you've got a bunch of water and sugar in all your muscles. I'd say probably around, I don't know, maybe 75% full, just by guessing. But then if you go 2 days with if you did like a 2-day fast, I'm not saying that's what I would do, and I'm just kind of using that as an example, but if you went 2 days without eating, then all that water and sugar, mainly the sugar part in your muscles, that's all going to get depleted. So you're not technically smaller per se, because you still have the same amount of, like, muscle fibers, but they've kind of shrunk down. In each of your, well, in each of your cells, but in each of your muscles too, you've got storage of muscle glycogen. I'm just waiting for Chris D'Elia to tell me to shut up or put a lab coat on. But you get what I'm saying there. So, you know, if I have gone the last week-ish of not getting my meals in, combined with just kind of feeling like shit and not getting enough sleep either, not an awesome combination. But luckily, things are only brighter ahead. I am taking a winter class, but that's like just a little bit of time every day. So that means that I've got the next month and a half-ish smooth sailing, parents cooking, grocery trip, perhaps the occasional Uber Eats in, just scarf down food, train, and chill. I'm kind of lucky. My school has a pretty long break compared to everybody else, so I am going to make use of it. In a bulking context, honestly, the less shit you have to deal with in the day, the better. You know, when I'm dieting down, I almost like being busier just because it's, you know, more stuff for me to focus on rather than thinking about food. But when I'm bulking, I mean, I don't really want to be too busy at all. I kind of want to just be chilling, scarf down some whatever, and chill. You know, I'd say I probably, well, I don't know. I'd have to do some analytics. I'd have to look at the statistics and see just how much more like TV and games and stuff. Yeah, I think this is kind of the pattern that happens for me. When I'm dieting down, I kind of want to distract myself a little bit more. So I feel like I'll play more games, or I'll like just kind of I'll want to do more shit during the day. But if I'm bulking, I want to be very chill, I think. I like being a little bit more of a homebody. Just get my meals in, and that's the end of it. Now, of course, that's not like a cut and dry rule 24/7, but I think I'm just kind of looking at a pattern that I've experienced over time. So plan now is go get some grub for the house. There's definitely not enough red meat in the refrigerator just from looking earlier, and I got to get some of that in my system pronto. Post-workout meal is going to be a classic, probably pound of ground beef combined with instant rice, combined with cheese, combined with barbecue sauce. It's the way to go. Now, pound of ground beef, it's like 80 grams of protein. Fuck, man, am I going to be able to absorb that? Is my body going to be able to handle it? Don't even worry about it, dude. I would definitely not recommend that you eat, if you got 200 grams of protein allocated for your whole day. I think it's probably not the best case scenario to just eat all of those grams of protein right in the morning, and then don't eat it any other time. Evenly spread it out throughout the day. But just because people are like, oh, well, you can only break down 40 grams of protein in 2 hours, whatever, man. Don't get too nuts about that kind of thing. Just get your food down. Make sure you hit your macros at the end of the day in their entirety. If you can repeat that process for not even that long, even just weeks on end, a couple of weeks of a deficit, or a couple of weeks of a couple weeks of a bulk, you will notice a difference. This shit should happen relatively quick if you're actually in a state which is gonna cause change. Now, if you're just kind of doing the same shit over and over and over again, and you're not really pushing it, you say you're in a bulk, but you're only eating maintenance calories, or you say you're trying to diet down, but you're fucking, if somebody were to do the math, you're definitely in a calorie surplus, then you're going to have some trouble. You're not actually going to make the changes that you want to make. But really, I think that's the majority of lifters out there, at least the ones that kind of stay the same year after year. I've said this a couple of times already. They're just kind of in a state of maintenance. They're just sort of doing the same shit over and over and over, but expecting a different result, expecting the scale to change, or their lifts to go up, or their chest to get bigger. And what's the definition of doing the same shit back to back, yet expecting a different result? And I know it. Fucking insane maniac. But I think that's all I got. So I'll freaking see you next time.